So high level, it's a play to earn game built with the back end of an MMORPG, massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Come on now, what an acronym. They have launched a gaming experience that operates out of your browser. The company itself is based in Singapore, which makes sense because of US's legality concerns. They're working to integrate DeFi into the game. They have automatic market maker and exchange. And the grand strategy here is space exploration, land and territory control, vehicle control, economy, combat, customization, and more. So, pretty much sounds like they're trying to make a space game. A lot of these crypto projects are trying to make space games. I think space just calls to us all. Something in our heritage. What else do we have? So I went through and I read a bunch about this project. They mentioned how some of the advancements in Unreal Engine is allowing them to actually launch a photorealistic game on the blockchain. They're on Solana right now. And, you know, all the concerns about Solana's centralization aside, it does allow about 50,000 transactions through managing kind of a serverless game. So, yeah, that's kind of it. They went ahead and they have a marketplace that's been launched in collaboration with this project. And all the art seems really, really interesting. Really, really cool. One thing that stood out to me when I was researching this project is just the amount of dedication to attention to detail. So if we go ahead, we hop in here. Let's do... So if we click on the website here, let's scroll in. Like just comparing to the last project that we revealed from a website standpoint, this is just leaps and bounds better. Space technology of tomorrow. You get to explore. There's different species and races that you can align with. Just super cool. Super, super cool. Talk about the founder. I always pause these at terrible spots, but sorry, Michael. I believe you're Michael, right? Michael Wagner. Sorry, Michael. Bad pause. But I found this interview he did with Alexander Lorenzo. Shout out to you, Alexander. Hope you and your channel are doing great today. And he talked about the growth trajectory of the project. A couple of things that stood out to me. Michael has been in crypto since 2015. Prior to joining into crypto, he covered capital markets. He was a portfolio manager. He left to create a crypto protocol. And then with that team, ended up deciding to create a game project called Star Atlas. So right off the bat, a lot of crypto experience. In addition to the crypto experience, he has the capital market experience, which I think probably puts him leaps and bounds from a tokenomics and an economy standpoint over most metaverse games out there right now. He mentioned in this interview that in 2020, they had 4 people that they had hired on their team. And at the end of 2021, they're at 50 people developing this game. And then he predicts by the end of 2022 that they're going to have between 400 and 500 people working on this project. So, quick pause on that. It takes a lot of money to hire 400 and 500 people. It takes a lot of money. So that tells me that someone is, well, I guess this is pretty straightforward, but someone has given them a ton of cash to go out and hire great people to actually make this thing happen. And that they predict, or at least they hope, that they'll earn back more than what they put into it. So I would say a tremendous amount of growth is on the horizon for this project. What else did he say in this thing? He talked about how Axie Infinity kind of set the stage in 2021. as well as Yield Guild Games, who set up some partnerships and lending NFT assets for other players to use and play and earn money through a scholarship, and everybody kind of makes money off of it, and how that is kind of the stepping stone that they're attempting to follow in this metaverse game. So we hopped into their Reddit, looked at their social media presence here, 8,500 folks on Reddit, 23 currently active. We jump over into Twitter account, 300,000 followers, and it is also fairly active, posts every single day, multiple times a day. They did list a Twitch, which would make sense from a gaming standpoint, but on their official Twitch, they don't have anything up yet. I wasn't able to find any videos, anything on their schedule, anything on their chat. So take that for what you will. And then they do have a Medium page followed by 5,000 people, and they are super active on this Medium page. So when I think at target market cap, I think these folks again are trying to go after that Axie Infinity and those online RPG type games and in those communities. Now, when we look at growth, this is the interesting part, okay? For the folks who suffer through hearing me talk for like 15 minutes, this is like the part of the video where we get into something that's juicy. So again, in this interview, Michael mentioned that in December, so this project, the game, in essence, launched December 16th, as we'll see here in the next tab. And since then, they have had about $180 million in total value locked just in that period of time, which is a lot. That's a lot. So I'm feeling like Star Atlas is undervalued. I feel like Star Atlas is undervalued. I think it's something that I'm probably going to be ended up buying personally. So when we look at some of their partnerships, they completed a $3 million NFT sale on December 22nd, which is pretty much the same thing as them just collecting funding from a VC firm. And they received that money from Animica Brands. And if you've been on the channel for a while, that name may sound familiar because Animica Brands, let me pull up their portfolio real quick. Oh, that's not it. Animica Brands. We pull up their portfolio. They also are a capital provider to Blocktopia, which is another project that I'm buying and that I like. So I like that. That's a good sign. What else did we have? So they had a partnership, and this is old, or older, I should say. When was this? Is there not a date on here? Oh, why is this January 20? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Anyhow, they had a partnership with Serum, which is backed by Alameda Research, massive venture capital firm. If they were to announce a funding round for this group, it would do a lot of great things for the token's price through Serum, and Serum is helping them kind of put in the back end and front end of the DeFi ecosystem within the game. So that's interesting. As for where we are at in terms of the project's life cycle, early. I think we're very, very, very early. So they had an initial offering right here back here in September. These initial offerings always pump, and then they crash. And then it finds a bottom. People begin to buy back in, hoping to go back up. And it just kind of keeps going over and over. You know, I'm not a big chart guy, but I think the trend here is that this thing was building back up prior to this last couple weeks of Bitcoin struggling. So I think Star Atlas is undervalued, personally, in my opinion. Let's look at tokenomics. So there's two tokens. So there's Atlas, which is the token that's used in the game for buying, selling, trading pretty much the economy, and it's inflationary. Over time, there's going to be more and more tokens put out. 10,000 million billion. Right now, there's 36 billion, which is only 6% is out right now of that supply. Polis, though, P-O-L-I-S, that's the DAO token. And there's some interesting tokenomics behind this thing. I'm not going to lie to you and say I understand it 100%, but from what I took away from this interview, it seems like Polis is the token between the two to own. So what happens is if you have this token and you have ownership in the DAO, right? We talked about that, decentralized autonomous organization. And there's profit sharing from anytime someone buys something, they go on a flight mission, they have to buy gas, they have to repair their ship, they have to pay somebody for materials, whatever. Instead of those assets being burnt, which is typical for most projects, they're going to be reallocating those to all the holders of the Polis token. So to me, it seems like Polis may be the token to own here. Polis may be the one to chase. And then by having Polis, you'll go ahead and you get yourself some Atlas as well. Let's see, what else do we have here? What else did we have to pull up? Yeah, so I covered this a little bit, but their white paper, what page are we on? 16 right now? Their white paper is awesome. Like, look at this. Look at this thing. This ain't no copy paste operation. You guys put a lot of time and effort into this. That Michael guy from that financial background has put a lot of thought and intention behind the tokenomics. And it really shows through. So again, Polis is the governance token, Atlas is the payment token. What else do we have? Markets. So again, Atlas is launched on Solana, so you can go ahead and pick it up on some of these wallets like Radium, or apps, excuse me, like Radium. When you're looking at big exchanges, they are listed on FTX. They're also on Bitmart. From that standpoint, I think it's early also, because they don't really have a tier 1 exchange on here. They're not posted up on KuCoin. And if it's on the up and up with Alameda Research is pretty well closely connected to Coinbase. So if they can get some momentum and actually get the thing launched, I could see a Coinbase listing in the future. I could see that. For the newsroom, super active as well. And these aren't just copy and paste images. They have a whole team that are building this thing out. When all these write-ups are consistent, right? Like 3 days apart, 4 days apart, always talking about the developments, the things that are happening, what to expect next. So that's super promising. Again, as I mentioned, this project launched in full on December 16th, 2021. So we're in the early days of this thing. And finally, from a roadmap, look at this though. Can we just pause for, look at this. Like, look, there is a lot of money and intention and effort behind this thing. Like, I would never play it. I don't know if you guys would play it. Even if I could make money, I couldn't see myself sitting down playing it. But if I could speculate on the assets, make some money off of it, sure, I'm a fan of that. So when we talk about roadmap, what's coming soon, player organizations, custom usernames, ship configuration, ship missions, gathering station, space station, whole bunch. So for me, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy Star Atlas. What I do, I have about 20 to 25 different tokens I'm trying to put together in a NFT gaming metaverse portfolio. It's risky, but I'm not aping into things like Radio Kaka that has a terrible website. Like, I'm doing some due diligence. I'm putting into projects that have potential to do well. So I'm going to have probably about 20 to 25 of those, $100 into each one. So total investment around $2.5 grand. And Star Atlas is one of them. and Blocktopia is the other that are currently added to that portfolio. If you want to track that live, again, not to shamelessly plug, but I am going to shamelessly plug. That's another perk of being a Patreon member. You get access to my full portfolio and moves. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And hope you go into the weekend feeling good. Try not to look at the charts too much. Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends and your family. Do something positive. Keep your mind off of those charts. And we'll see you in the next video. All right. Bye.